Have you ever read the Bible and various passages or verses, you go, I don't get that at all? Well, by way of example, Matthew chapter 5, if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. Well, mate, you have to know the heart of God, don't you? And you have to know the mind of God. You have to know his nature to know he's not talking about literally plucking the eye, your eye, out. What is he talking about? And of course, he goes on in that same passage to talk about if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Really? Is that what he's saying? No. And you and I both know that. He's talking about those things, those areas in our life that are bringing us down, to deal with it, to cut it off, to separate ourselves from sin. Now, here's my point. On the subject of good thinking, I don't believe we should go into any situation without our heart, right? Without our understanding, without a mind. The Bible talks about a sound mind. And if we understand God, we will understand Scripture so much better. Now, the point I'm making here is God is a God of love. He has called us to love our neighbour. Why wouldn't we give the same amount of intellectual latitude to the people around about us as we do to God? Now, why do we do this for God? Because we know he is love, because we want to know him, because we love him, because, oh, hang on, there are times people say and do things, and they can be condemned before we even get a chance to understand. On the subject of good thinking, I would use this term, it would pay good dividend for all of us to pause for thought when it comes to the actions or the words of other people. To, as we do with the Lord, now of course God is perfect, so he's got a good start up for us to want to believe and understand and search the scriptures more in order to understand. We know that people are fallible, make mistakes, and so it's very easy for us to immediately get or develop a poor opinion of someone. I would encourage you to ask for God's love, God's understanding, that his ways are above our ways. I think of a mother's love. Goodness me. I guess we all hear of crimes and things that people do, and you watch the reaction of the mother. It's completely different to everyone else. That's my boy, she will say, or that's my girl. And it's like they know they have done wrong, and yet they adore and love them. I think this is not too far removed from the very love of God for you and I. Now, I'm not trying to get into the whole God is a God of justice and he's going to deal with sin and all that sort of thing. What I'm talking about is the same measure that we and the effort that we put in to understand a scripture like in Matthew chapter 5. Why wouldn't we put that same level of effort into understanding others? Good thinking. And of course, if we don't understand, to love them. I heard this saying once, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If we're going to bring correction into anybody else's life, then we need to be the sort of people that will go the full distance in caring, understanding, and knowing that person better before we leap in and form a very negative opinion of them. And of course, there will be people that will let us down, and the opinion that our opinions may be proved right, that they're just way out of order, way off where they need to be. And even for that person, we should, from a good heart and a sound mind, be the sort of person that will get behind them and encourage them to grow again, to get their life in order. And so, in all of this, I hope that this unusual recording, really, I think it's unusual because I guess really we all wish and hope and pray, every one of us, that there'll be those people that would have that same level of love for us. And I hope that this has stirred, challenged your thinking to grow. And out of that growth, that you'll have an even better day today.